Hi guys, this is Connie, back for the final installment, what I'm calling the outro of Connie Reads The River by Gary Paulsen. This was an amazing book, and I cannot remember at this moment what I did with the intro, but there was one little segment and it's called Measurements. So I think it kind of helps, almost like the epilogue or whatever, prologue. I'm getting words all mixed up. Okay, it's 2 pages, it's just called Measurements. So here we go. Measurements. Brian, Derek, and the raft traveled 119 miles down a river with an average current speed of 2 miles an hour in just under 63 hours. When Brian started, the raft weighed approximately 200 pounds, but soaking up water all the way, it nearly doubled its weight by the time they reached the trading post, which was actually nothing more than a small cabin on the river where trappers could bring their furs. The post was owned and manned by a husband, wife, and one small boy, but they had a good radio and could call for help. Derek's coma was low grade, and in truth he probably would have been all right even if Brian had not made the run. Although he would have suffered significantly from dehydration, he began to come out of the coma in another week and had fully recovered within 6 months. During the run, Brian lost 12 pounds, mostly in fluids. Give me the page. Thank you. Though he drank river water constantly to make up for it, and his hands had become infected from bacteria in the water. He healed rapidly. His hands became amazingly tough, and strangely suffered no real long-range difficulties from the run down the river, probably because his earlier time, had taught him so well. His mother and father vowed never to let him go into the woods again, but relented after some little time when Brian pointed out that of all the people who were qualified to be in the wilderness, he was certainly one of them. About 7 months after the incident, Brian was sitting alone at home, wondering what to cook for dinner, when the doorbell rang, and he opened the door to find a large truck parked in the street in front of the house. "Brian Robeson?" the driver asked. Brian nodded. "Got some freight for you." The driver went to the rear of the truck, opened it, and pulled out a 16-foot Kevlar canoe with paddles taped to the thwarts. It was a beautiful canoe, light and graceful, with gently curving lines that made it look wonderfully easy to paddle. Written in gold letters on each side of the bow were the words, "The Raft." "It's from a man named Derek Holzer," the driver said, setting the canoe on the lawn. "There's a note taped inside." He climbed back into the truck and drove away, and Brian found the note. "Next time," he read out loud, "it won't be so hard to paddle. Thanks." Aww. That's the end of the book. That's so good. So I want to also add for the outro, there are shameless plugs even in the book, which I will absolutely say because I do not have any copyrights. I have no anythings for this, but I've enjoyed this. I know you guys have enjoyed this, and thank you again for, not only enjoying Hatchet, but requesting that I do all the rest of the Brian books. This is phenomenal, and thank you, Gary Paulsen, for writing these books. These are amazing. So it says, read all of Brian's adventures. From the acclaimed author and Newbery honoree Gary Paulsen come gripping stories of isolation, courage, and ultimately survival. Words and phrases and things that I can no longer say. Survival. And don't miss the true short stories that inspired it all. So there's a book called Guts by Gary Paulsen. It says, the true stories behind Hatchet and the Brian books. Ooh, we'll have to pick that up at some point. But it starts with The River, Brian's Winter, Brian's Return, and Brian's Hunt, which I've done mine out of order. I've already done Hatchet and Brian's Winter before I realized that this was book 2. Gary Paulsen is the distinguished author of many critically acclaimed books for young people, including 3 Newbery Honor books, The Winter Room, Hatchet, and Dog Song. Wow. Dog Song. Come on, Connie, let's read. He won the Margaret A. Edwards Award given by the ALA for his lifetime achievement in young adult literature. Among his Random House books are Flat Broke, Masters of Disaster, Liar Liar, Woods Runner, Lawn Boy Returns, Notes from the Dog, Mud Shark, The Legend of Bass Reeves, The Amazing Life of Birds, The Time Hackers, Molly McGinty Has a Really Good Day, The Quilt, a companion to Alida's Song and the Cook Camp, How Angel Peterson Got His Name, Guts, The True Stories Behind Hatchet, and the Brian books, The Beatfields, Soldier's Heart, The River, Brian's Winter, Brian's Return, and Brian's Hunt, companions to Hatchet, Father Water, Mother Woods, and 5 books about Francis Tuckett's adventures in the Old West. Gary Paulsen has also published fiction and nonfiction for adults. His wife, Ruth Wright Paulsen, is an artist who has illustrated several of his books. He divides his time between his home in Alaska, his ranch in New Mexico, and his sailboat on the Pacific Ocean. And you can visit him on the web at GaryPaulsen.com. Ooh, it says he's available for select readings and lectures. Ooh, you could send an email to Random House. Ooh, that's pretty cool. So, once again, super excited to finish something. Be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you, and I will see you for the next installment of Connie Reads. Most likely, it's going to be The Giver, and most likely by the time this uploads, I will no longer be pregnant, but actually have Baby Bear Try-On. But that's another installment and vlog and video for another time. Until then, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoy reading your suggestions on other books that I should read. I've got a list. The list won't go away, and one can only hope that I will get them done in a timely fashion. So, that's the hope. Thank you guys for joining in with us, and I will see you next time. Have a great one. Bye.